All right, all right, all right. Okay, so first thing I want to say is the Batman video I was going to do of Court of Owls was actually recorded 1.5 times and had issues both times with the videos. So I'm going to push that off because I feel like that's the universe telling me that that's not ready yet. So, but I'm always reading. And recently I picked up from the library this Fantastic Four book. I'm not sure which volume it is. If it says on the end, it's covered up by the library stickers. Let me look, see if I can get a number. It is issues 31 through 34, issue 35, issue 36 through 37, 38, 39, and I think there was some bonus ones in the back too. But yeah, so the first, I never finished this book. I couldn't finish it. I have no issue with Fantastic Four, like no real issue at all, except for the fact that when I was a kid, their old comics, I did have some. They weren't my favorite. I've always been a fan of the Human Torch, but I didn't find out until I was older that there was a regular Human Torch that wasn't a part of the Fantastic Four, and there was the Fantastic Four Human Torch, which is two different people. But so the first story in this had to do with Doctor Doom coming to Reed Richards, who's, you know, the stretchy guy, Mr. Fantastic, and wanted him to be his best man at Doom's wedding. And that was a very cool and interesting story in the way that kind of played out. And especially if you like little sitcom dramas and stuff, I mean, that was perfect. There was like infidelity and trickery and some other things going on in that story, but all around that was good. Like, I liked it. And then there was the next story arc that was done in there was done by the art done by Romita Jr., and that had to do with what's that guy's name? Kang. He was the bad guy that was in I think Quantum Verse or whatever that Ant-Man was. I think it was like the third one, and then Kang, and he had like different versions of himself, which are actually in this story. And Kang basically goes after Fantastic Four on different timelines and tries to get something, but defeating them at the same time, and then kind of converge together all the Kangs, and they do this thing where they basically tell their story of how they beat their version of this Fantastic Four. After that, the story got kind of hard for me to read. Don't get me wrong, the stories I read, they were fun. The art was really good. It was really cool. I guess I'm just not a Fantastic Four guy, you know. But, you know, it is what it is. There was some other characters in there too. Black Panther was in it in the first story, and so was Namor, who's actually a much bigger character than they've kind of played him out recently. I believe he made an appearance in one of the movies too. Which one was that? Maybe one of the Black Panthers? Something like that. But yeah, no, it was cool. I just, I didn't finish it. Let me see how much I left of it. Or did I take my bookmark out? That much I still haven't read. But I went and I kind of skimmed through it to see if I liked how it was going, and I didn't really. Like, they seem to... I guess I find their bad guys a little cheesier, and the whole thing is a little more cartoony, a little more campy too. It's like if you liked Full House, you know. I wasn't a hater of Full House, but it wasn't necessarily my favorite show. I liked shows more like Seinfeld, Drew Carey Show, and with a little bit edgier comedy, I guess. But if you liked something like Full House, stuff like that, then this would be good for you because it has more of a wholesome family feel, so on and so forth. Now, a book that I want to cover that I really did enjoy, and I don't think I did a video on. I read The Old Man Logan. I read 2 of those books, and they were really, really good. And it was only 2 of them. I think it was volume 5 and 6, or 6 and 7, one of the 2. But those were really good. And after I read those, I was like, okay. And I felt like I connected more with the substance of the character. And I was like, okay, I'm going to look more into Wolverine. Because they had this Enemy of the State book, Wolverine. And really good book. So basically it starts out and some people's son gets kidnapped. And it seems like what happens is there's a little boy and a rich little boy that both play on like a baseball team. And the people that were the kidnappers mistakenly took the poor family's child and were holding them for the ransom. And were like, oh, you can tell us that it's not him, but we know it's him. You can't be cheap. You better pay us. Well, these people happen to know Wolverine personally. So they called him and they were like, hey, can you help us get our son back? Track him down. So, of course, Wolverine's like, hell yeah, I'll do that. So he gets in the story and he tracks down these guys and he ends up being caught pretty much right away. So some protagonists in this book are the Hand, who's a big villain for Daredevil. Also Hydra, who's a big one for Avengers. And the villain, the Gorgons group, which I believe they were called like the Mutants of Eternal Light or something like that, but they're bad guys. Straight up bad guys. So and the Gorgon's like the main, he's like the main villain of the story, and Wolverine as well at some point. So let me get back to it. So when he drops in on those guys and he tracks them down so he can get the kid back and get information, he ends up getting jumped by a lot of people, like swarmed. He ends up getting kidnapped, and then he also gets brainwashed by Hydra and becomes Hydra's little killing machine. And like literally, I can't even tell you how many S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and other people he killed. And some heroes too. One most notably, he ends up actually killing North Star, who's from Alpha Flight originally, I believe. And like he really got him, like knuckles into the bottom of the pecs and snick it, and straight out and got him. And but he was brainwashed, so he wasn't in control of himself, and you could tell through reading it that he was trying to fight back. He was trying to regain control of his body and not do what they were making him do, but that wasn't really working out the way that he wanted it to. So the Gorgon, the villain, he's a pretty big deal. I have actually heard of him before I read this book. I did not know he was the protagonist in this book. So Gorgon basically was a genius child that was raised, had tried to kill himself a few times, and ends up becoming more evil. He proposes to the Hand to join them, and when the Hand starts kind of questioning him, he immediately kills himself right there, and he's like, you better resurrect me. And so they do. So he's one of the resurrected people. So like that's another thing the Hand can do. Like they did that with Elektra, which they also did in this book. I'm jumping ahead on that part, but still. So they bring him back, and he ends up not only becoming the leader of his own crew of the Eternal Light, but he also becomes a big part of the Hand, and he ends up taking over Hydra by taking the wife of the leader of it and also beheading their old leader and becoming the new one. And also if he takes he wears sunglasses like at all times. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. He literally wears it in like every scene. unless he lifts up his glasses, because if he looks at you, a stare from him can turn you to stone, which is why he's called the Gorgon. You can see him there, like wearing his little sunglasses. And he'll turn you to stone. And so basically, he works on this thing where they're like, okay, we're going to start getting supers, people with powers, and we're going to start capturing them, dead or alive. And then we're going to make them our little minions, just like they did with Wolverine. They end up also getting Elektra and Northstar. And in Northstar, the X-Men brought him back, and they were like saying their goodbyes, and the doctor and scientist was like, I've got to decapitate him, because if I don't, the hand's going to come for him, and if I don't sever the spinal cord to the brain, then they're going to be able to control and use him. One second. Where was I? Oh yeah. So and right when they're trying to decide, like, maybe we should just let him, because they're saying that they're going to get him. Right then, some teleporters come into the room, get the body, get out of there, and now they have Northstar, which is another dangerous mutant for them to have. We end up capturing Wolverine back, which he killed endless amounts of people in the process of that, and basically Shield did their own brainwashing to redo the brainwashing done to him, basically putting them through a scenario every couple of seconds, like one after another, until he wasn't like he was in a dream state, and let's say he was around a whole bunch of scientists, and in 10,000 of them in a row, he killed everybody in the room. And in one of the last ones, he kills everyone in the room, and then he looks at one that's on the ground already injured, and he's like, I can't kill you, you're pregnant. And that's when they're like, okay, he's showing improvement, but we still need more time. Before they had the adequate amount of time to fix this, Shield comes under attack. And when they do, basically everybody starts getting slaughtered there by all the supers that the hand has accumulated. Like over a amount of like 3 days, they already had like 7 to 11 people. And by the time that this whole onslaught that I'm talking about now happened, they had what looked like a few hundred. So a few hundred come down onto the base, start killing everybody. Most everybody's dead, and the one last scientist starts releasing Wolverine, and the other scientist's like, what are you doing? And he's like, look, he needs more time, yeah, but back to the onslaught. Okay. So the supers start taking everybody out, and they're like, we got everybody, and let's get in here. And they get into the room where Wolverine was at. Just before they got in and broke through the door, the scientists had turned out the lights. Now it's dark in there, and they're kind of looking around like, oh, you can't hide from us. And then slowly but surely, everybody that entered that room just gets taken out, because Wolverine's a badass. So he really is like a killing machine. So he ends up going through that room. He also gets through a different room, and basically ends up taking out every single super that they sent as an army to take them out, except for Elektra and Northstar. He ends up coming head to head with Northstar. The good guys end up being able to recapture him and start trying to redo him, but it's not working as well as with Wolverine. One reason could be Wolverine's healing factor. Another reason could be the fact that Northstar basically got killed by one of his best friends. So maybe that's a little hard to come back from. And that's what they were kind of reiterating in the book. So it ends up having something where the scientists that let Wolverine go and Wolverine start talking. And they end up mentioning something about release forms. So in one of the next scenes... Oh, wait, maybe they hadn't captured Northstar back yet. Because they go after more of the bads. And they end up capturing Wolverine, and they bring him to one of the bad hideouts. And while he's there, they end up figuring out, they're like, hey, you got a power dampener in your neck. Why do you have that? Why would you want to not show your powers? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Suddenly, 3 gigantic sentinels set down on the place and just start taking everybody out, because Wolverine now has them on voice command, and they can't even see him as a mutant, so they won't touch him. But everybody else they're going to start taking out. That's when they get North Star, and that's when they recapture him to try to start sending him back to being a good guy. But it wasn't really working out well. Wolverine ends up leaving one of the Sentinels. One got pretty messed up, and he takes another one to the head of the hand. He ends up finding out some numbers, though, I believe from the scientist at S.H.I.E.L.D. And he's like, well, how many are there? And I think they said some random number at the end of it, like 52,000. And he's like, all right, well, that's who I got to kill. Because you got to remember now, he's still looking back at this. And by this point, he knows that the little boy that was kidnapped originally was not only killed, but he was kidnapped originally just to bring Wolverine in on this, so that they could capture him and use him as their first little pawn in their little brainwashed super killers. So he is pissed. And he goes to the hand, and he basically takes out thousands of ninjas on the outside of it, and then he gets in the inside. And they try to face him off with Elektra, who's also brainwashed and taken over. But she's been through this whole thing before. This is not her first rodeo. So her and him basically single-handedly take everybody else in the hand out. After that, he ends up leaving there. He ends up meeting up with Gorgon, and they get into a huge fight. I don't want to say too much about everything else that happens, but it was a really, really good book. Like, it was hard to not keep reading it. And the art was also by Romita Jr., which I love. And there was a lot of cameos. Like, the Avengers were in this, like Falcon, Iron Man, Captain America. And one part, like this part right here, that's when Wolverine was still brainwashed, and Captain America kind of slams him down. This was, I think, right after they killed North. Yeah, there's North Star right there, bleeding out. Gambit. I mean, there was a whole bunch of really cool characters in this. Nick Fury's in this. Kitty Pryde. What's that? Emma something? Emma. The White Queen lady. The one, she has the mind just as good as, like, Xavier's. Let's see who else was. There's a little run through in this. Hand Hydra. All right, that's the onslaught onto the good guy's base with all the brainwashed supers coming at him. Just before Wolverine starts taking every single one of them out. But yeah. There was one random issue at the end of it too. I guess it was like an annual or something like that. And it's basically like Wolverine in a concentration camp in like the old World War times. Spider-Man had a cameo in this. Oh, Spider-Man had a cameo in this. So did Fantastic Four. Who else? Who else made a jump in this? I feel like I'm missing somebody. Oh, the Beast. Iceman. No, there's a little scene with Daredevil. He was in that partially. I remember that. That was pretty much Wolverine throughout the whole book. Just taking guys out. Back and forth. That was the wife of Hydra that the Gorgon ended up taking as his bride. That was the old leader of Hydra that the Gorgon beheaded. I think actually right after this scene. Oh yeah, that's a messed up scene. So this guy right there, he's married to her, and he and and they're the leaders of Hydra, and he starts getting upset because the Gorgons move in on his lady so much, and she tells him, she's like, "Hey, sit down and play some." I don't remember, maybe Wagner or something like that. And she's like, "I love listening to that while I make love," and took the Gorgon upstairs, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So they've got their own crazy toxicity going. Oh, and you get to see how badass the Invisible Woman is in here. So, like, I don't know, the Fantastic Four really doesn't grab me like that, but their small appearance in this was a pretty big deal. Like the weapons that Reed Richards was making, uh, he gets his plans stolen, and the bad guys start making all this stuff, and it's basically like in the wrong hands, so it's weapons. And but it also shows some more eccentric things that the Invisible Woman can do with her powers to basically subdue someone. Like she is the only one that Wolverine was afraid of trying to take out. Like he wasn't worried about the Thing, he wasn't worried about Torch or Mr. Fantastic, but he was worried about the Invisible Woman, and she definitely made him remember why. So, but yeah, that was a great book, man. Enemy of the State. It's a thickie, for sure. But really good book, really good art. All consistent, same Romita Jr. art, except for that last issue, which was... that's like one of the covers from the very last issue. That Nazi-ish one I was talking about. The one where it was like World War II. Yeah, that's different art. See? It's just a different art. There's nothing wrong with it. It's still good. It's like gritty art. But yeah, besides that, it was all Romita. And yeah. But so at the end, that was kind of heartbreaking. He ends up recovering the son's body and buries him, and the parents know. At one part, Wolverine admits like what really happened to the dad, and the dad's like, "So you're the reason my son's dead," But it really wasn't Wolverine's fault. This is just some plan that got cooked up by the evils. Had nothing to do with him. And he tried to talk to the husband, but the husband just wasn't having it, and the wife ends up grabbing the phone and was like, "Wolverine, what you told my husband, that you'll kill them all, you'll make them pay, you do it, and you make them hurt. You make them hurt as bad as you can." And he was already on the revenge quest, and that just sent him more into it. And I'm not about spreading any kind of negativity or badness, but well within his right. In real life, I try to avoid anything going to violence, but sometimes violence has to be had too. And besides, this is comic books, so this is for fun, and the violence in this isn't actually hurting anyone. So, amazing book, Wolverine. Also picked that up at the library. That's like my new little favorite place to just go look and check out other little books. There was another couple ones I grabbed while I was there. Do I have them near me? Let me see. I know I got Green Lantern's Blackest Night, I think it was. Where did I put it? Well, it's somewhere, but yeah, Green Lantern's Blackest Night. I know I've read that book before, but it's been a really long time since I have. Excuse me. But yeah, amazing book. Fantastic Four, really good too, especially if you like more, I don't know, it felt like maybe people that are just getting into comics that are looking for something wholesome with some comedy and some action, and some of the big bads like Kang. Am I saying his name right? Kang? I believe so. But really good, man. Really, really good. I mean, it got more boring and I couldn't finish it. But that first story with Doctor Doom and asking Reed Richards to be his best man, really good. Really, really, really good. But I'd say I would give this book like a 5 or a 6, because it was like halfway good, and then kind of went down for me. But that's me personally. It doesn't mean it's not a good book. It's just not my book, you know. But that Wolverine, beautiful, very good, very good. Some more Ramita art. It's like that simple but good. Always liked it. Yeah, I guess that's all there is to really say about that, but really, really good. Definitely worth a pickup, or just to listen to this video and pretty much know what's going to happen anyway. The way Wolverine gets the Gorgon was pretty good. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I was expecting, you know, the usual Wolverine just slashing up or kill or something like that, but no, it was pretty good. I guess that's it for right now. And like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm going to be doing that Batman one very soon. I recorded it twice. Like I say 1.5 because the second time I didn't get to finish. But yeah, so I'll have that one coming soon, and hope you enjoyed this video, and have a great day. If you'd like me to try to cover a book, let me know, and I'll see if I can pick it up and give it a read. I can be kind of picky with certain books, but not too much so. You know, I think everything's worth reading once. Have a great day, and happy almost Halloween. Bye.